live stream. I just wanted to show you the next video. I've just had a conversation with one of my followers, Susan, and just talking about this Ford Escort RS2000. That's going to be my next video. It's quite a challenge, to be fair. I think it's almost like painting a portrait. You got to get the proportions right. Everything's got to be sort of exact what you see. And it's the first car I've ever painted. So hopefully I get that right, and it will be my next video here on YouTube. Probably in the next day or two, I'll have this painting done for YouTube. So if you want to catch that, then subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and you'll receive notification when it does go on. Oh, hi Susan, nice to see you. Yeah, it's just a challenge, I tell you. It's the first car I've ever painted, and it's just a bit of a struggle. So I'm going to take a bit more time with that. It's going to be a little bit later that I did want to post it for today, well, yesterday, Monday, but it's going to have to be another day, I think. So just a bit slow in the process. I watched an artist do a car, and I want to do one myself too. Was it Leron Jankowski that did the car? I know I'm following Leron here on YouTube. Really good artist. He does teach. He's got a couple of books. Quite a lot of really good paintings that he's done here on YouTube. Just wondering if it's Leron. The perspective points are catchy, aren't they? Yeah, I think it's one of those things. If you get it right, then it looks really good. But obviously, it's got to look right, the proportions and things like that. So yeah, it's just something I wanted to try, and hopefully, cars are everywhere. You could just walk down the street and get endless sources to paint, references. Just click with your camera, and you've got endless supply of references there. Now, I don't know what I'm painting here, by the way. I'm just going in with the paint. But I just wanted to stick to this Tuesday live stream and just see how I get on. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm painting, so it's going to be a loose landscape. I think I don't know how much sky I'm going to have, but let's just pop in something going on in the top of the paper, a bit more water. So I started off with a bit of yellow ochre. I touched in a little bit of red. That's pyro red. Just going to mix that with a little bit of alizarin crimson. I really don't know. Seriously. I don't know what I'm painting. Another one on was a lady. Last name Chatham. Maybe she did an MG midget. Ah, okay. Cool. Nice car to paint. Yeah, I just find them really interesting. If you do get them right, they look really nice. So obviously you can, things like that, for me anyway, I would be painting it more to realism than a loose painting, because again, it's your mind that you see something and you want it exact, and if it doesn't with something like a car painting, then it just looks odd. So like portrait painting, when you paint people, you just got to get the proportions right, and you just got to make it look like the person. That's why I don't tend to do many portraits. I can do, and I have done a few in the past. I remember a number of years ago, I knew someone who owned a salon, and she had a daughter. She wanted a painting of the salon. It was in oils, and her daughter wanted me to do a portrait of her. and she wanted it like a pop art, so she wanted it in red mostly, and she had these really stunning blue eyes. So I got the canvas, and red's quite a difficult paint. It's a difficult paint to. Okay, you getting ready for work? Leave on and listen as I go. Oh, thank you, Susan. I do appreciate that. I'm presuming you probably give me the thumbs up as well. I see two that have done that. I'm presuming that you're one of them. Thank you very much for being here, and yeah, just keep it playing. Just listen along, and as you, I think, drive, just be careful. But yeah, I do appreciate you being here, Susan. So yeah, and I painted this painting, this portrait that she wanted. She requested it in red, and she had these striking blue eyes. And so I painted the portrait, and I thought it was a really nice paint. It looked just like her, and she wasn't really that keen on the actual painting. I think just the style with the red, but it's exactly what she wanted. That's what she requested, and I was really happy with it. And I did the shop as well, the beauty salon. I did that painting. It turned out really, really nice. And it's just nice when people give these commissions. They want me to paint certain things. I always welcome those. It's really nice. It's just nice that people like your paintings enough to sort of give money for them. So it's just really, really nice. So I think I'm going to go in a little bit darker in the sky area. Seriously, I don't know what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just going in with the paint. Who cares, right? Sometimes when you paint like this, things happen, and it turns out nicer than you expect, nicer than you think. And also you can have these happy accidents that happen. You're not trying to control things, you're just throwing down the paint and just allowing whatever happens on there is absolutely fine. I really don't mind. Just with the pressure of being live as well. So it just gives you a nice little fun sort of experiment. Just lifting some areas now. Maybe some clouds. I don't know. I'm not really decided yet. As I put down the paint, as I do these marks and put this paint down, I'll know what to do as I see different things appear, things emerge from the paint and the paper. Let me just dry. Another thing that you need to do, if you're using plenty of water and you've got tape down like I have, you want to try and just mop up the excess water so that you don't get any runbacks. But it's not really a deal breaker in this painting because it's a landscape. If it was something else, if it was something that had to be more precise, then it definitely would be something you'd have to do. But if it was something that I was going for, more perfect, something that needed more structure, then I wouldn't add as much water perhaps. I can see these, this is the back of another painting, because just sometimes I do that, just grab one of my old paintings and turn it over. So you can do that. It's cold pressed 140-pound paper. And so let me just take some of that paint out. And well, I can see a bit, could have a waterfall there. What do you think? Maybe I could have a waterfall in this, bits of water coming down. That I think would work. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Hi Buster, Russia. Are you from Russia? Can I get Z for our brave Russian brothers? A Z? I don't know what a Z or a Z is. I don't know what you mean. But welcome anyway, Buster. It's nice to have you here. Maybe I could turn this into a waterfall. Wasn't something I was looking into doing at all, but now it's there. Maybe I could just turn that into a waterfall. Well, hi to the brave Russian soldiers. Is that what you mean? But yeah, so coming back to the painting, I don't know quite what is going on. Okay, maybe a cloud. Just taking bits out, and it's nothing perfect. Definitely nothing perfect, but just gonna add as I see necessary to make this painting, and we'll see how we get on. I couldn't find my cup of tea then. I'm just having a brew while I do this. If you're still here, Buster, can you give us a thumbs up? I do appreciate that. Now let me, just bits that I've got on the paper. You can do that when it's dry, it's no problem. Okay, so I think I can probably go in, and I'm gonna grabbing my liner brush now, plenty of water on it, and I'm just gonna add a few trees. Okay, I'm gonna go quite big with these trunks. Okay, maybe I'll do the background, or sort of the midground first. And you can see where the paper's still wet, you just get this area, you don't get a solid line. And so I don't want to do too much like that. But you do get a little bleed out, because like I said, that paper's just not quite dry. I will be going in with quite a few trees, so I can sort of go over that. I just want to take some of the pigment out so it's a little bit less. So I want to make it a little bit faint, a little bit more lighter. Okay, so just something like that. So there's one, and maybe, okay, I'm gonna just add some things. It's going to be one of those paintings that's maybe not as clear, so I want some sort of imagination going into it. So anyone who sees this painting, you got to really sort of look and maybe see things as you look. I'm just not sure. So I think things will become more clear as I get on with this painting. Like I said, I'm just as clueless as you watching, but we'll see how things go. And let's add sort of a flat area here. So yeah, I'm thinking of a waterfall of some sort, so we can have some sort of things going on coming down here, maybe some rocks and things. In fact, while I'm thinking of rocks, let me just grab my friend, and this is my scraping tool. So let me just scrape out a few little random rocks, and yeah, that's quite nice. As you can see, just a little bit of something. You can see already that there is a painting emerging, I guess. And yeah, just gonna see how things go on as I progress through the painting. And maybe add a little bit of just as if the land's coming down. And if you were stood here, you'd be standing on some sort of banking, looking out at this scene. So maybe I can take out, oh, maybe it's too late. Okay, so if you've got something that you want to take out, like this little bit, it don't really matter, but I just think if I disappear that a little bit, maybe mist or something. And then just go in with the tissue so that you got this sort of misty effect. There we go. So yeah, I can see certain things happening now. I can see a little bit of a painting. I can see a composition now coming from this. And I'm going to go quite dark maybe in this area. I think I might add just a few sort of mountains or impressions of mountains in this sort of area. And I think we'll take it from there. We'll see how we get on. Hopefully hopefully you're enjoying this so far. Like I said, I really don't know what I'm doing for now, but let me try and make sense of this little area here. I can add some green and things like that. This is just a Payne's grey or neutral tint, whichever one it is. Don't really matter, you can use any. And just picking out some of these areas to add contrast to, just to give us that nice effect. And I'm thinking a bit of greenery just here, just a bit of green, just adding that. It's still wet, so I'm getting these nice little tiny details. And we can add, like I said, some green, because there's water in the sea and there's probably lots of moss, lots of green sort of stuff growing along the side of this waterfall. So yeah, I'm gonna go and grab a bigger brush, and perhaps we're gonna grab some yellow ochre mostly, and I'm gonna pop in a bit of sort of a tree on this side. Bushes, trees, whatever it may be. Just, I can go over, I'm just adding the shapes and things that are going on. I will define things as I move along. Just some darker tones within that. And maybe let's get a little bit of the red colour. This is alizarin crimson and a bit of the burnt umber. So brown, a nice sort of rich browny sort of red colour with the yellow ochre. So it just gives a nice little colour, just something a little bit different. And you can see, well, I was going to do just this area as a waterfall, but I think I can extend that and just leave behind this tree sort of foliage area. I can leave that, and just gives a nice bit of atmosphere, bit of distance. There's these things in front of the waterfall. It's quite a dramatic waterfall, I'm liking that. Unintentionally painted. And that's one of the beauties of when you go in and paint. You just go in and paint, even for painting's sake. If you're not a clue, if you don't know what to paint, just go and paint. Just go and see what happens. Just start adding the paint to the paper, and hopefully things start to happen. You can see all these sort of things, and it just gives you a little bit more inspiration. It's a bit spontaneous, I think it's the word I'm looking for. You're going in, you're painting something quite spontaneous, something not planned very much. Just I think when you're doing this, when you're doing this sort of thing, I think experience takes over. I think the more experience you have, the more you can sort of do this thing. But if you are quite new and you've not done this sort of thing, that doesn't exclude you at all. You just need to go in and practice. You just need to go practice. I've been painting for a long time, so I kind of know what works, sort of. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I know how the watercolor reacts. or acts, and I sort of react to that. So yeah, it's a really nice medium for that. When you're using watercolor, oftentimes I think that it is just a reaction to what's happening on the paper. So if you don't get anything else from this video, I just want you to know that we're here just reacting to what's happening on the paper. And just adding a little bit of dark. So there's rocks and things coming on the side of this waterfall. And just want to take some pigment out. And just to add to this waterfall, you do have these nice little, you can sort of dab. You can take paint out, it's not a problem. I think I do need some cleaner. I've used that tissue quite a bit. So there's a lot of paint on that tissue, so I've got some more fresh tissue now. And there we go. You just gotta play around until you get those water effects, and it does give a nice effect when you got a little bit of color in there. So you want little bits of color and a bit of contrast in the painting. So just using that tissue just to take out, and I want a little bit of, not too much, but yeah, you can see how that works, hopefully. And then we've got, like, above the waterfall we've got a few rocks. Honestly, I had no idea before I started painting this that I was going to do a waterfall. I've only done a couple of waterfalls before. I do like doing them, and I think it's one of those things, if you get it right, it looks really nice. So yeah, I think this is going to be the main focus. It's a waterfall scene, and you just want a little bit of dark on the top of that water just before it comes down, just before it cascades down. And you do want to try and get this straight. I think that it gives the impression I'm not painting perfectly. I was going to say what I see. I don't see anything. This is in my head, so maybe I do, but in my head. But you just go ahead and add some paint and then add clean water just to smooth things out a little bit. And then tissue just to lift some of the excess. So you want a few things happening in the water. You want this little bits of tone here and there. It does help. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I have no idea how things are going to turn out. I think it looks okay so far, but I could go and ruin this quite as easy. We'll see. But I do appreciate your comment. It really does mean a lot. So how often do you do your lives with the other girls on here? Susan? I know, I think you do them quite late. Sometimes I can't get on. But it's quite fun to watch. I would love to do the same sort of thing. But yeah, it's just difficult sometimes to get on YouTube when I want. I can't just... I am kind of guilty, really, of just going on when I've got things to do. Because I'm not working, it's easy to YouTube to swallow up my time. It can be quite time consuming. It can be quite a thing being on YouTube. It's not easy, that's for sure. But yeah, I do enjoy doing these lives as well. I'm just going to grab another one of my, you can see, one of my mop brushes. I think I'm going to add some sort of mountain here. So I don't know what colour. I'm just bit of burnt umber, bit of green. I think I'll change up the colours as I come down. And I want some more atmosphere, so I'm going to leave some unpainted parts, and you'll see why as I move on. I think it's quite nice. Just a suggestion, really. So let me go in with the scraper tool again, just a bit of credit card. I do need to hold this easel because it does tip. If you've seen this is just a new, well, not a new one, but it's a different easel that I've just started using because my other one's died, and I've done a video and it's nearly tipped as I've painted. So I'm trying to avoid that for this live. Okay, so a little bit of clean water. I'm gonna take out the bottom of this. Just blend some of the areas. Just enough to give that impression, like I said, just an impression. And I do want atmosphere. So it's, I do want atmosphere, so I'm just doing these impressionistic sort of details. Now let me just go in. I want a little bit more dark on this area. I will scrape out again just to give some light. Just to give some light in that area. So again, I'm going to grab my scraper. I think it's a little bit wet yet. Let's find out. Yeah, it's a little bit wet, especially in the top area. But let's capitalize on that. There we go. So you do need to wait when it comes to scraping out rocks. You do need to wait for the paint or the paper to sort of semi-dry. So it's half and half. You don't want it too wet. You don't want it too dry. If it's too dry, you're just not going to get a scrape. And if it's too wet, you'll just get the pigment will just come in and flood back into the areas that you scraped, so you won't have that effect. I think time to grab my liner or rigger brush, and this is just a size 2 Da Vinci Maestro brush. So as far as I know, this is a mix, so it's not synthetic and it's not, well, it's both. It's not just synthetic and it's not just a natural hairbrush, it's both. So it's quite a nice one to use. Just gonna add, I do want darker, just see if it allows me, because it is still a bit wet. I'm painting wet on wet here. But just a big tree coming up out, just coming out of the scene, going right out of the top of the painting, and that's all good. That's what I want. And a little bit of dark just to add a few limbs here and there. There we go. A really nice brush to use for these limbs. It just gives that, when you allow the brush, the hairs of the brush to move naturally, you get these natural things happening. You don't want to control things too much. You want it to look like a tree, right? So you just add, there we go. So this is another one of those paintings that I'd say is a muted painting. I'm not using bright colours. It's very subdued, and I do like that sometimes in painting. I think there's a time and a place for colourful, sort of happy paintings and all these things, but sometimes it's nice to do these when you just go in and use paint that's not too bright. Not everything has to be bright and colourful. I do like these sort of scenes as well. And let me think. This area now where the rocks are is beginning to dry, so let me take the camera just a bit more towards there. Hopefully you can see good enough. And I'm just adding some of these darks now onto some of these little details, the rocks. Obviously in nature things aren't perfect, aren't perfectly straight or anything like that, which is brilliant for me because it's kind of hard to do those things when you're going for things that are really exact and you want the details to be, perfect. Landscapes and nature is not. So you got these random things happening, you got different things going on, which is really good for me to paint because it's a bit more forgiving. Let's put it that way. Pine and oak woodworks. I do painting as well. Oh, hi. Hi, Pine and oak. What sort of things do you paint? Nice to have you here, by the way. Thank you for joining. Please do hit that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. And that's not just you. Anyone that's here and not subscribed, please do subscribe. I do like to do these live streams every Tuesday. And that's the plan. I've done a few now, so it is something that I like to do, and you can always join me every Tuesday about 10 a.m. here in the UK. I don't know what's it called. I know in the States it's Eastern time. I don't know what to say for the UK. I don't know what it would be. So yeah, I'm just gonna add a few. Let me get some really dark green. This is mostly sap green, and then just a touch of yellow ochre, just for this grassy bit of the scene. And I want this to sort of be quite dark so that it does stand out, be in the foreground. As always, like I do say, you want, when you start painting, I usually start from the top. As you've seen, I did the sky, and as I move towards the bottom is when I start sort of introducing more colour, more dark, just a bit more saturation with the colours, and that really does help. It just pushes everything in the background, it pushes things back, the background. So then you get this painting that you have, some depth to it, really. And that's what we're after in any painting. It doesn't really matter, but you want to create something that gives that depth and detail. Okay, so I'm gonna add, I think I'm gonna go for another tree, quite dark, and I'm gonna go here. So there we go. And I can scuff this up a little bit. Doesn't really matter. Trees don't go perfect, do they? Maybe a bit better than that, but anyway, I'm enjoying this so far. Hopefully you're enjoying this too. Hopefully it's something helpful. I hope it's useful when you come to painting. Hopefully this does help. And if nothing else, if it gives you some inspiration to just go in and paint, then I think that's success for it anyway. Okay, so we've got these trees. I'm just going to add, I think, a little bit more dark to this side. Let me just move the camera, sorry. and we'll just add some more dark to this tree. And it is nice when in watercolor in the landscapes, if you do get these broken sort of lines, especially with trees, because it just gives that nice rustic sort of feel. It's not too generic or anything like that. And I'm gonna add just a few lines, just a little bit of detail going on in this little corner. So how is it looking? Are you still here, Pine and Oak? What is it you're doing today? I'm just adding some bits of detail to this side of the mountain. Not too much. Not too much. I still want it to be mysterious, a bit. And maybe I can add something to the bottom here, just a bit of something. I'm going to add a little bit more water and just help that to flow a bit. Let me take out this bit of area there. So hopefully you can see what's going on. Just want my scraper again. Just want some couple of quite thick actually, but just want a few little tree details, and if I come back in with a dark mix and just cover just little bits of that. You don't want all the trunks to be fully visible, so you can just disappear a couple of those. That's absolutely fine. There we go. And just a little bit here. The trees are going, presuming this is going in the distance there. And I think we need to go in and just give a little bit more definition, a bit more dark to the top of the waterfall. Just give it a little bit more of a pop. Now, I know sometimes I've been told I should have, it was actually Leron that told me this, just to have a scrap of paper. It's a good idea. I know people do that, just have a bit of paper to just swash your colours so you know how dark they are, how you know how it's going to look. But I just don't do that. I just don't do that. I don't know why. I just like to go in and paint. Maybe it would be a good idea. Maybe it would be better. I'm not sure, but I really don't mind it, to be fair. I really don't mind at all. I just go in and paint, and whatever happens, happens. And it's just, like I said, that experience of painting, that you know how to sort of get rid of things, or you can sort of control things to an extent. You can control things. But yeah, it's just an impressionistic painting. It's something that I just wanted to go in and paint. Let's just add a little bit more dark. This is still wet, so I'm still getting a little bit of wet on wet. And I think we can actually push this darker tone just a little bit more here. Can you see? Let me move that. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just touching in just some darker colour now, just in between the rocks here and there, and it does help the composition. It just helps the rocks to pop that I'm doing. And I do need, I've just seen it now, this tree sort of disappears. Let me just add to that. There we go. Yep, and I think I do need to add some on this other side as well. Just give that a nice, another layer. There we go. So whenever there's a tree and it's quite dark like that, I just want to blend it into the land so it doesn't just sort of stand out. And maybe I think I can add to this tree as well. This one is more in the background, or just a bit lighter, just a bit further behind, and so you got this other tree as well. I think, let me if I add another tree, maybe here, just a little sapling tree. And a little bits of detail coming in. Maybe we've got a tree growing out of the side of this. These rocks. That sometimes happens. If you look in nature, sometimes you get these scenes and you got trees sort of growing out of everything. I know you walk down the street sometimes and the trees growing out of houses, the top of houses, things like that. I don't know what kind of painting, oil, watercolors, acrylics. Yeah, I did ask. I don't know whether he's still here. I love attempting trees. Yeah, I think, Susan, for me, it's one of those difficult things that I like to paint. But the more I do it, the more I paint, the more they do look a bit more realistic. And you got to think. I know I've heard this before. You got to think like a tree, if that makes sense. But just allow the branches to sort of grow every which way, but loose, just random. And I think that's the key. You know, if you space your trees, they're all sort of, you know, equally distanced, things like that, and straight, that sort of thing. That's where it sort of kills the look of a tree. So you want to, you know, space things out, make them different size, different tone. So if you want trees in the background, then you just do a lighter mix. And then obviously the trees in the foreground, you want quite dark, quite more defined, like these trees. Hopefully that's what you see. And then just practice and things will start getting a bit better. Do you have one of these brushes, Susan? A liner brush? I think that is really what you need for these sort of trees. I'm going to go this way with the branch. There we go. You could really add as many or as little as you want with these trees, these limbs and things like that. But it does give a nice effect. And I did say in one of my videos before, if you do have a focal point, say you've got a building in this sort of area, I do have several. Okay. Do you use those for your trees? So if you do have a focal point, say if I did have a building here, you could have your trees sort of pointing at that building. So your eyes are drawn to that building. So it does give a nice, it just leads your eye in and it's quite nice to do. Gives a nice, just a nice effect. I don't want to go too wild with this, but just roughing things up and making it, you know, a little bit more. I'm not quite happy with these background. I think I might have to cover these. And when I've got the liner brush in my hand, it's kind of hard to put it down. I just keep painting with it. It does offer some nice lines and some nice details, but then it's hard for me to let go. But I do like the liner brush. I do like what happens with it. I really haven't used it yet. Okay, well, I think that's one thing you need to do, Susan, is grab your liner brush and just, I don't know whether you've got sketchbooks, anything like that, but just go ahead and just see what you can do, see what lines you can make. You can see, just really nice to just bring these landscapes to life. Just add all sorts of twigs and sticks, and you can just go like that and just rough things up a bit. You can see that. So yeah, I'm just I'll show you that again. Let me grab some more neutral tint, and I'm just going up and down. You get all these sort of things in nature. Nothing's perfect, like I said. And hopefully you can see that. I think that's all I want to do, because I think it's on the verge of, if I carry on, it would become overworked. Certainly that sort of painting. Don't usually do that. I just want to fix. I'm not happy with these dark stems. I just want some paint to cover that. It's not really happening. Just maybe. There we go. See, that's darker than what I wanted, but just to cover those dark branches, I think that's all I'm going to have to do. So that's not really worked out for me, but that's painting. That's what happens. I thought this was my friend Goobug. Okay. Right, so I think that's done for this one. Just a quick scene. Like I said, it is quite subdued, quite muted colours. I did see a waterfall as I started this painting, and I've gone along with that. I thought that was the way this painting was taking me, and so that's what I've done today. And oftentimes when you do your painting, things happen that you don't quite expect, and just embrace that. If you see that there's a nice area to paint a building, say if you put the paint down and there's a square or something like that, just embrace that and go along with it. Just allow the painting to sort of almost dictate the painting. Let the paint do that, sort of dictate, and just go along and manipulate where you can. Just allow the paint to do what it does best, and this is the sort of thing that can happen. Hopefully you like this one. I'm quite happy with it. I think it looks okay, apart from these trees here. I don't know what's happened there, but anyway, that's watercolor for you. It is unpredictable. It can be things can just happen that you don't like, and I think as many times that happens, things happen that are quite nice. So just embrace the medium. Hopefully this helps. I hope you enjoy this one. Please do give us a thumbs up. Thank you, Susan. And just keep going, keep practicing, and it will get easier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.